everyone, and welcome to Mission Genealogy's monthly office hours section, which after several attempts of going through with something that I knew that I would share, I realized it's much more interesting if we handle this as a Q&A. So here we are with that monthly Q&A section. And I'm going to open it up to this larger conversation with all of my guests today. And I hope that going forward in the future, you all also feel welcome to come and join us, or even submit your questions via email if you can't make it, because we rotate these. This month's session is at what we call the Pacific Friendly Time. That is to say, the late afternoon on my Pacific Coast afternoons, but in an hour that is a civilized hour for early morning in Australia, New Zealand, as opposed to what we call the Atlantic Friendly Time, which is my morning, so that we can include the our friends on the continent and in the UK in their early evening. So that was your geography lesson of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to all of you to go ahead and join me in with questions. I sure hope you have something. Otherwise, it's going to be a very short hour. What do you think? Oh, Lori, you're on the edge of your seat. I can see it.
I don't have any questions right now. I'll think of something though. I promise. I'll think of something.
Linda, welcome. Glad to have you join us. Do you have a question?
I don't really have a question. I had a query from a reader today who's descended from a James Dowling Hayes, who was born in 1844. Didn't tell me a place, just said he had traced him back to a Palatine who was born in 1710 but came in 1710, and wanted to know if I could confirm the line. Not my line. And this all came about because I did a book review of the Palatine Family Supplement that Hank Jones put out. And I started looking, and Stufflebean is a Palatine name. So, I've done some of the work, but I'm very lucky. Hank Jones is a friend. Probably 35 years ago, we used to live in Southern California, and I'd go over to the Los Angeles Family Search Center, not called that back then, but that's where I went. And I was sitting waiting by the microfilm readers. I had made a request for a film that they had in the drawer there at the library. And the lady came out and said, "Stufflebean," and this man's ears perked up. And he's looking around to see who responded. It was me. And this was before he was famous. He was just doing his research, but because it was a Palatine name, he noticed. And so we became friends. And, he's helped me through the years, but I mean, he's long retired now. And this reader is just, I took a little bit of look for this James Dowling Hayes, but he was born in Pennsylvania in 1844, and he's living with a woman who doesn't have any Hayes, Hawes kind of surname. Her last name is Osman, and she was married to an Abraham. And, it's one of these things that's just a mess online. If you look at Family Search, Family Tree, or online family trees. So I don't really have a question, but that's my puzzle right now. And so I thought I would start by writing to him and saying, well, what line would you like me to confirm? What have you found so far?
Right.
Because it's going to be a mess to get back there.
Yeah, that's probably a whole category of feedback cycles of what are the prompts to ask somebody who just drops a vague question on you? What are the prompts to see if they're serious? I've been surprised, I will admit, to discover that sometimes a really vague answer or question really has depth behind it. So I try not to dismiss, whatever it is, but.
Well, I'm waiting now to see if this person writes back. And if he does, I'm always willing to try to help people, but this line, I told him, I said, it looks to me like it's going to take a lot of digging, because somebody claimed that this James Hayes's father was a Simon House, Haus, which could be possible, except James was born in 1844 and Simon died in 1825. So if he's a son of a Simon, it's not the Simon that everyone has linked him to.
Don't you hate when that happens, though?
Yeah.
I've always thought it's the myths that keep families together, you know?
Well, there was a marriage certificate for this James Hayes, and it did say the father was a Simon Hayes, not House. But people have now linked him to a guy that died in New York, not in Pennsylvania, in 1825. And of course, there are no documents that support them being the same person or even related. So
Yeah.
that's my quandary. It's not really my question, but it's, if he
Yeah.
writes back, I'll try and help him some more.
Yeah, there you go. So Jane, how about you? I saw you turn off the mute. I know you're there. What's going on?
I just turned it off in case I need to say something. I didn't really come with any specific question. I really came because you don't know what you don't know and you might pick something up. So I'm sort of interested in other people's questions and answers. Yeah, so I don't have anything specific at the moment, I don't think.
I'm going to sneak over and
finding
ask Diane.
Substack really great to use, and I'm not sort of having any
Oh, that's great. Well, you know,
issues at the moment,
we
apart from the
have,
fact that I can't edit comments, which really irks me because I called Bill Moore by the wrong name the other day. I wanted to change
can you
You can go to
delete?
those three dots. You can go to the three dots and you should be able
not
to
on the
check.
comments. You can do it on the notes, but not when you're commenting on someone's post. Mine won't let me change it.
Because I have terrible spelling and finger coordination, so I'm always spelling things wrong. And when I see it, I feel like I can go through it, but yeah, you can't. There's three little dots up there somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
And I think
There
sometimes
are
you can.
dots, but they don't. I'll have a look on my phone actually, but they
Yeah.
don't. They're not the
May-
option. The option to edit
Uh,
isn't the option.
May-
It's in the
is it
app.
maybe?
Actually, I didn't try on my web.
I was going to say
website. I should have done that.
it
There
might be
are
on. It might be on
things-
the laptop because they've got different options
Yeah.
on there.
I didn't
Mhm.
try it on there because I put
Yeah.
a note on onto his post, and I'd done it, on the website where you can tick it so it goes in a restack and a thing. And on the restack, I changed it to actually select his name, so it linked to him. And I changed it so it was right, but for some reason in the actual comment, I couldn't change it. And it was really annoying me because somehow, I don't know if it was predictive text or it was my senior moment, but I put Bob Moore instead of Bill Moore, and it was really annoying me because I knew I was wrong. And I don't like calling people by the wrong names because it's very impolite.
Well, that's very kind of you. I was just, I mean, my answer to any question like that I get is to go test it.
Yeah.
And I think Lori has probably got the right answer there, that there are things that you can do in a mobile that you can't do on mobile that you can do in the web.
Yeah.
Or if there's something you think it should do, always try the web or go to posts in your own dashboard and the widget will pop up and ask the widget, is it possible to?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's
a good idea.
We'll see if we can't get an answer to that question before. I was trying to find, I've apparently been busy because I didn't find a comment that I've made, and yet I feel like I've made a lot of comments. I don't know. So I'll have to go check. Diane, you see me coming.
So I was involved in Jennifer Jones's 50-day blogging family history. And for one of the posts I made, I attached a image and it was fine on the post, but then when I stacked, and I've forgotten the word now. No,
Restacked?
made a note of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
made a note of
restacked.
it. Restacked it. The image came up really dark. It was, as the original image was really light with black drawings, but in the restack, it came up a really dark grey and you could hardly see it. And I'm wondering,
here's a question.
Anyone's come. Yeah.
If you take the original post, it will and let's say you have an original post with one image on it. I don't know how many images you had in that one. We'll just pretend it was just one. And then you decide, you know what, it's too dark. I'm going to go edit the image and change the image. So you see the image just the way you want it. If you create a note from that image, the image will defer back to the original. And here's why. Because the image that it uses in restacking or sharing to Facebook or anything else, the so-called preview image and the metadata for the URL that is the post, will be whatever you designate in that settings window. By default, it'll pick up the first image that you had, the primary image that you had in the post. But if you change it after you've started, it may not update it. And I don't know when it decides whether to update it or not. Could that be it?
Could be. I don't remember how much I changed the original image, but I'll have a look at that.
Yeah. Anytime you see the image shared not being what you think it should be, or what I'm doing, I'm creating something and then I'm changing things and I'm changing things some more. I have tried to make a habit of going back and seeing what it's picking up as the share image. So we all see that. That's in settings down at the bottom, social share. You're selecting an image. You can easily upload another image. Sometimes there might be some peculiar reason why you want a different image to share, which is not even an image that appeared in the post. Or if you have a post with no images in it at all, you can pick up an image that is about your brand or about you or something else.
Was it in the, when you restacked it, the restack was a different color? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Because, you know, you can edit those when you do that. You can edit it. There's a little, I don't know if it's a little icon up in the right-hand corner, and you can change the colors of it. So you can make it blue or green or orange, or you can have it so that the image, you can see the image and then the words go over the top of it. I think that's just
separate.
I think it's just for restacking, right?
Actually,
so.
Close. So let me take an example. That's a video post. That's not a good example. I want to show a specific example, because what you're talking about is the share images, and that is used in a restack or something. But it's I don't want to confuse people on the recording.
Okay.
About the different ways to look at that, because I think you do have it, Diane, but to the extent that we're sharing this. So let me share my screen here. Hold on a second. And so here's a post of actually somewhere where I may want a different image that I actually share it with, because I want it to be wide. It's a long image, but I want it to be wide. But if I pop that into the in the settings, so I click to edit, and then I see the settings button appear down here, open settings, and scroll down here. I don't remember what I did in this one, but I added space on either side of the image so that it didn't chop it when it cut it to this wide, not tall aspect ratio. And this is where you would make the changes. Now, that's what I was talking about in terms of the share image and the social preview for a post. However, so let's get out of the edit for this, go back to that post. Whoops, where'd it go? Posts. And go back to that post. And here, review post. So, however, this is my own image, so I can go to get share images. And I think this is what you're talking about, Lori. Get share images is something you can always do on your own post. And I have to think about how to get there for somebody else's post. You can get there for somebody else's post. And this is where you decide, the different layouts that you want it to appear.
That's actually
So,
not what I was talking about.
oh, even better.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about um when you let me try it on my phone here. Like if I'm gonna restack something, maybe if I restack it, is that right? I can change the image. Oh, it doesn't have an image on there. Never mind. Because I know I've done it before where you restack it and you can change the color of it.
Ah,
Right,
that's
right.
if, no, no, no. So here I am in your post. So it's not
Yeah,
mine.
yeah, yeah.
And I go across a selection. I make a selection of the text.
Okay, that's where
and
it
I
is. Yep.
say restack.
And
So
then you
now I can,
there. Yep.
so this
That's what I
is
thought you were talking about. Yep.
right. This is for a selection of texts in
Okay.
in this. I can also do a share to notes. And here can I change it? No, here I can't change.
No.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. Oh, this is
I
exciting.
don't know. I've
No.
never done it like that before.
Oh,
Nope.
wow.
Mm-mm.
See?
No. Okay. All right. So
So
that's what I was doing. I was thinking
let's
it was the
review
other thing. Mhm.
to explain for the folks back home.
Yep.
There's a couple of ways to share. One is just sharing. This will share the URL and bring up
Yep.
the preview image. This will do the same thing to notes. A restack would have just restacked it without the ability to add text, add context. I don't, because I don't own this post. I don't get that share center that I got for Project Kin. But
Right.
if I select a bunch of text,
And
here
restack
I
it, you can
get
change the
either
image.
the restack and let's see where this goes. Ta-da! So this is letting me share it to third parties, to
Oh.
third party functions.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is picking up colors. I think, are those your designated colors?
Maybe. They must be, yeah.
Must
And
be
then you can do vertical, square. Yeah.
vertical, square, or Instagram, which I thought was vertical, but okay.
Okay.
Oh, Instagram post isn't, I
Mhm.
don't know. How is square?
I didn't know you could do that. Okay, that's cool.
Nor did I. I
You
knew if
know, I
changed
gotta
that,
get
I'd
up
something new.
pretty early in the morning to update you guys. Okay, so let's review again. That was the difference between share and
restack.
restack, which is a
That's
lot
what I
like
was talking
share.
about. Yep.
Come on, man. So restack is to take that and post that text into Substack.
Right.
And share
Is outside
can
of
be used the
Substack.
same way, but it's optimized for outside of Substack,
Right.
which is also weird because when I did this, where was Blue Sky, for example?
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
No Blue X,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't talk about Blue Sky, but if you go over here
Mhm.
and say share, I get Blue
Oh, I
Sky
didn't notice
index.
that. That's
My money
you should
says
you
they're
should
gonna
let them
add.
know that.
Oh, you can be sure they know.
You already have.
No, not because they've just been stepping through it, kicking, in some
Mhm.
cases, kicking X out. I mean,
Mhm.
they're probably
Okay.
negotiating.
All
Okay.
right. Well, that's cool. I didn't know you could do. I don't know that I've ever even
Hmm.
touched that share button up there. Okay, I can go home
I
now. I
don't
learned
think I
something.
have either. Interesting.
So I don't, I find that I want my feed to show variation. I don't want to, if we all do the same thing all the time, it just
Yeah.
feels like we're, what is an
Yeah.
omerous that eating its own tail? What's the point of that?
Mhm.
And I think it's wonderful the way different people are experimenting with different ways of sharing and different components to bring in. Major kudos to you, Lori, for making that effort to be bringing new people into the diet for the rest of us. I think a varied diet is really important.
Yeah.
And I give extra attention to the people that you're talking about from the
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
And actually, that goes for all of you. Now that I think about it, I just happened to be picking up on one of yours lately.
The interesting thing is, I don't think they're on the outside. Because when I start talking to those people and I start talking about genealogy and family history or culinary history, and I'm like, that's what y'all are doing. You're doing that already. You're just talking about it in a different form. It's all we're all and then that's why they get in, that's why we get that engagement, I think, is because we break through that. And Barbara, you and I've had that conversation. There's that genealogy lane that is very narrow, right? But
Right.
there's this family history table that is giant. And when you start talking to people and get rid of some of that language that's maybe gatekeeping a little bit, and you just start talking about, that's a cool story about your family. Oh yeah, it is a family story. So
Yeah.
that's your family history then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
mean. And that's exactly what I mean also by bringing in, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Scotland, Wales,
Everybody.
everybody, and Tucson. Somehow I have a feeling that will get you to laugh.
If this isn't a question, it's sort of a comment, a query maybe. I'm trying to follow Substackers on Feedly. Okay. That the fact that if you subscribe to somebody in Substack and then they email me when something pops up, that makes me nuts, because I sign up for a lot of these things and I don't want 85 different notices, coming in. So I put everything in Feedly, and I don't know enough about how Substack works, and I should have paid more attention. But the other day it said something about if you didn't know it, Substack has created a way for you to, share or something. And it involved the name. It didn't say you had to pay you for a domain name, but it looked like it created the Substacker's name in front of .substack. And if something was there, Feedly will pick that up and I can subscribe that way. But there are a lot of Substackers. There are probably 8 or 10 that I wanted to follow. And if it has the @ thing, Feedly can't read that. And I don't know, it says create an RSS feed. I don't know how to do that, and I don't bother with it. So
Okay.
Is
I'll take it.
something Substack does that people need to switch over so they get a name in front of that Substack?
No. So that's absolutely terrific question, and actually very practically articulate in a very practical way that addresses, fancy protocols, because that's what Feedly is doing, sucking in the RSS feeds. But Substack has the notion of accounts and publications, which confuses people no end.
That's what it was. It said that has a publication ready for you. People use that.
But it
follow.
got fancy. Here's how it got fancy. Until September 2024, if I remember correctly, because I had just done a mission genealogy presentation in August. So in September, they changed everything. So the idea was that you read something and get inspired, and then you create a Substack account, and then it immediately sent you down this path of creating a Substack publication. A lot of people got very confused right there and left. So they put some effort into saying, okay, how can we make that confusion go away without crippling everything else? So what they did was let people who only have accounts publish a post without really having a publication. So you look at someone's account and you can see all the posts that they've done. That's what you see as substack.com/@a-name. Okay.
And that's what Feedly won't read.
Well, because I suspect Feedly won't read it fairly recently, and I can't say exactly when, but our dear friend Deborah Carl recently wrote a post about this for missiongenealogy.org tips that is saying, if you have an account, let's take substack.com/@projectkit. Well, that's not fair because I do have a publication there. But if let's just say @name. So substack.com/@name. If you have that as your account, they will automatically create sort of an invisible publication for you at yourname.substack.com. They
That's what-
automatically, yeah. It
Yeah, that's
used to
what I
be
read.
they were saving it for you for when you do create a publication, and now they do what's technically a redirect.
Hmm.
So if you enter one name, it goes to the other. And I think that's what it will now, maybe it now works in Feedly. I do have a Feedly account and I haven't used it recently, but I'd be perfectly happy to fire it up and after this. And maybe before I submit the notes.
Didn't work this weekend
Okay.
because that's when I was adding in different Substacks to Feedly, and I think I was Saturday I was doing it, and every time it just had the hashtag name, Feedly would just say, "Oh, you
Did
got to
you-
create for it."
Did you try taking that person's, so if their name is Bob Jones, okay, substack.com/@Bob Jones. Did you try bobjones.substack.com?
No, because I went to their site, their Substack, and clicked on that. And as if it automatically has already been changed over with the name in the front, I could easily add it to Feedly and I was done. But
Mhm.
there had been 8 or 10 of them that I tried to add, but it was still at whatever. And at first I thought if somebody paid for their domain name, you got it in front. But it was Deborah Carr's post that I saw the other day. And so that's when I went looking to see how many of these Substacks I could add. But if the person's Substack still had the Substack dot whatever at and the name, it didn't automatically switch over. I didn't try to change anything. I just went to that person's site.
Yeah.
That's the way
I-
it came up. Feedly wouldn't let me add it.
I tell you what, do you happen to have any of those you can think of that wouldn't add to Feedly?
No,
If
I just
after this call, you
went
can
through
think of
the-
one?
I went through the restack list of people that had posts this week because I'm on that mailing list,
The
like Paul
restack list.
Chittick and all
Okay.
them. And I think his has it in the front though. But it was whichever sites, whichever people were mentioned in the weekly list that comes out, the GenStack list. I went
Okay,
through and tried some of those, and that's where I found a bunch of them that
okay,
it just wouldn't read.
okay.
'Cause
That's Robin Stewart's Gen Stack.
yeah.
And I will check that looking for accounts that are listed as accounts and not publications. Find one of those and see if I can find a way to add it to Feedly, right?
Yep.
See what I
But
can
there
do.
were 8 or 10 writers that I wanted to follow, and I said, I'm not a techie person. I can add to Feedly easily, but when it says build an RSS feed, nope, that's not me.
Okay,
So I
you got it,
follow
Linda.
people.
You go find out about that name coming in from Palatine, Mr. Hayes, and I go do this one. This is way easier.
It probably is, even though I'm not a techie person. You got the easier job.
Oh, I'm not techie either, but this is what I do.
Yeah, but you know
Techie.
what? You're a Substack expert though, so
I don't know about that.
so
I don't
you
know
are
about
you're a Substack techie.
that.
On the
I'm a nerd.
subject of what we were talking about before, the comment
yeah.
I couldn't change in the app, I've now changed it using my computer. So you were quite right, Laurie.
I make so many mistakes. It's ridiculous. You think that I don't even, you think that I type blind, but I don't. I get excited and I type it and I hit send and then I'm like, ah, crap.
So again, the lesson learned on that one was when in doubt, if something's not working and you're annoyed on an iPad or a phone,
Try a different platform. Yeah.
relax
Yeah.
and go try it on the browser. Actually,
Yeah.
it's the shortcut is the browser. The Substack has just taken hundreds of millions of dollars of new investment money, and they're putting hundreds of millions of dollars into the mobile app because there shouldn't be a big difference between
Yeah.
them of
No,
features.
no.
Yeah.
And
there
I
is, though.
oh, absolutely there is.
And I mean, come on now. If I'm going to be on a keyboard, a real keyboard, I'm going to make a lot fewer mistakes than if I'm putting my finger on this little tiny letter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah.
Figure it out,
Lori,
people.
not to be an apologist for developers here, but just to be fair, at some point, you want to see if anybody cares for a feature first, and then you see if they like it, and then you
Yeah.
spend money on the more expensive thing to do the tweaking on. So just saying.
But Barbara, you have to remember that back in the olden days when cell phones were just coming in, I was the one that told the company, nobody's ever going to text messages. Why would you if you've got a cell phone in your hand, why would anybody send a text message? That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, well, look where that went.
Whoops.
But when we put ISDN here for our internet access, for those of you who know how to spell ISDN, my husband was like, I don't know why we would need that. I mean, if you've got text on a page, why would you want pictures?
Right. Oh, so is that
I'm like,
company going?
You know what, honey? I'm going to make a career of that.
Oh, I'm never going to live that one down.
No, it's okay.
Whoops.
I can play tech to old. I'll take to old heck for 500, please, Alex. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we really did have a telex at home growing up. Oh, let's see. I had, can I share? It's not a question, it's an annoyance, an opportunity for improvement that I see for the way many people use Substack. It's actually as much a branding point as anything. I appreciate how, when creating a publication in the first place, Substack encourages you to create your account with your name and then use your name in creating the publication. But you're like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want to use, the memory hole. Yeah, that's what I want to call it. And so you do. And then you're very proud of yourself and you've got all of your stuff. And then somebody comes along and says, did you know that sort of sounds like something indecent or whatever? And you're like, oops. So you go change the name of your publication to My Favorite Memories. I just made this up. And that sort of works. And you don't want to go changing your URLs because that changes everything. Does everybody understand the problem I just set up? Right? You had your name, you avoided that by creating we'll call it a fanciful name for your URL. Then you discovered it was a little too fanciful. So you changed the name as it appears at the top of your publication, but the URL stays the same because you're thinking, I'm not going to break all my links, right? Now, I see it happen all the time. And I realize that I'm always trying to copy and reference people's publications. I do that all the time too. And I get all confused. I can't remember the name of publications. And then I realize, well, that's because the name of the publication I'm reading as the name is not the name. No wonder I'm confused.
Because
Yeah.
everybody can change their name one time.
Bingo. So the answer is, yeah, you can change your name from Memory Hole, which I'm pretending had some deep, dark, demonic meanings. I don't even know what it is. And the name is something different. The name does not have to be unique. The URL has to be unique. And, people get all tangled up. And I can understand why you get tangled up. But the right answer is take your time to settle on the right name and make the URL change or have it be your name, but don't go jumping around because people get really, you want people to follow you. You want to be found. So make yourself found, make it easy to be found. And frankly, that's why my account name is Barbara at Project Kin. I'm happy to have people call me Barbara Tien, but wait a minute, how do you spell that again? I just took it out of the equation. Barbara's 3 letters repeated. It's really easy. And anyway, that's your branding moment.
But we're all past that already. That's the issue. Right. I mean, that's if you're just starting
Yeah.
starting a new publication. For
Yeah.
us, we can't go back and do that. Like you said, either we break all the links by changing the URL. We can change the name once, but the
Right.
URL stays the same, because I did that on my culinary history newsletter. I changed the name after like a week, and the URL is still the old name.
Is that right?
But I'm pretty sure.
I thought you could only change the URL once. You can change your name all day long.
I feel like it still comes up I forgot what the old name was, but I feel like it still comes up that.
Okay, I will look that up too.
Oh no, it comes up right now. I thought it came up as the old name.
So what's happening when it is when you're changing the URL, you can only change the URL once. What's happening is under the covers, they're doing what's called a redirect. Same technology I just mentioned a moment ago. It's a HTML protocol thing that just says, you said that, I say this. And that's why, by the way, I'm always saying, hey, you want to read all those tips at Mission Genealogy? They're at missiongenealogy.org/tips. How does that work? Well, that's because I don't give Substack my domain. I don't recommend doing that. A full custom domain. I don't recommend having Substack do it, because if you control it, you can do what you want with it. So I set up a redirect that says every time you see missiongenealogy.substack.com/s/tips, go to missiongenealogy.org/tips. It's just faster. It's easier and not so complicated. Makes sense? I did exactly the same thing on both Mission Genealogy and Project Kin, because I'm a one-trick pony. This week we're specializing in redirects.
So is there a way to, for people that have previous blogs, is there a way to avoid that? Because I know a lot of people will just have a link to their blog on their Substack, and then it takes you away from Substack, and then you can't comment over there because you want to comment over on Substack. Is there a way for that? Is there a more elegant way that you can do that? Because I mean, to me, there should be some sort of workaround so that you can, keep you in Substack, keep me at your Substack, so that I can comment on Substack and I can restack it.
So in January, Jane, our guest here today, Jane and Jennifer joined me on a panel I called the Push and Pull of Platforms.
Yep. Yeah.
And really, it was getting at exactly that question. Because every platform wants to rule them all. That's their business model. They want to rule them all, either because they're going to take a cut of the revenue, like Substack. They're going to use your eyeballs to to sell to advertisers like Facebook, or maybe, WordPress does that too, unless you've paid them to not do that, et cetera, et cetera. The best strategy is always a question of what's the problem you're trying to solve. So, we have in this community a number of well-known people with very large followings on something else. Paul Chittix is a great example. And so I've always, Paul, if you're listening, we'd love to have you address that. There are many others as well. Many of you also know Mightier Acorns, who for a variety of reasons has chosen to leave Substack, but still comes by and says hello once a week or so, which is lovely. And we're, going back and forth. I have a WordPress account. So with people I really care for, I do my best to pop over there from time to time to leave comments. But yeah, I'm more comfortable over here in Substack for all those reasons. I think everybody needs to make their own choices. One very dramatic solution to that certainly would work like the Dickens is to say, I have a custom domain on WordPress. So every time you enter my custom domain, it goes straight to WordPress. I just bada bing, bada boom, switch where that custom domain points
Well-
and move my content over, which, by the way, that's what I did. I didn't start at Substack. I had,
Mhm.
I don't know, 75 posts or something else on some other platform nobody's ever heard of. And I I imported them into Substack to begin with. You don't want to look at those old things, but they're there.
But you can't do that just as a redirect. That's my question. Like you can't redirect so that when I get done reading so I'm on your site. I have to jump out of Substack into WordPress, and then there's no way that there's a redirect that can, when I get done reading it, bring me back directly to Substack
Well,
to
don't-
leave a comment.
Yeah. Don't get too fancy with the terms like redirect, because
Yeah.
in this
It's
case,
very
I think what
specific,
I think in this case, all you mean is if someone in their WordPress wants comments to come back to Substack, they could absolutely put
Link
a
it,
custom
right?
button. Yeah, they could put a
Yeah.
custom button at the end of the article to say, go over to Substack to make your comments. But if they're doing that, then why aren't they doing the whole thing on Substack?
Well, I mean, just because it would be terrible to have to import all that and all that. Wouldn't you lose all the comments that were out there at some point? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I can see a value in having comments there. But if I'm
Well,
coming from Substack,
right.
my chances are I'm following you from Substack,
Right.
and I'd like
right.
to support you on Substack.
Right.
Maybe that's just me.
That's why I said it depends on the reason you want to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And one thing I've certainly seen is to have people say comments are closed on this WordPress site. We'd love to hear your thoughts over on the article now, as it now lives in Substack or something like that. And frankly, the same method doesn't matter what your platforms are talking about. It could be WordPress to Medium or something like that.
Yeah.
I know, Linda, you've been through many of these kinds of migrations, Blogger, WordPress, Medium, and all of those. Did you have any other insights from there?
No, I tried Blogger. I just kind of dipped my toes in, but I have 11 years worth of posts on my self-hosted WordPress site, and I blog every day. And I have a Substack account, and I put up a couple things, and then I stopped because, I mean, just keeping my WordPress going every day. I mean,
That's the thing.
between the researching, because mine is genealogy and tips and methodology. And so I combine my research or other people's, like I commented on this guy that plopped in yesterday. And I work on that, and then I post on WordPress, and I don't want to just move something I've done on WordPress into Substack. Google loves me because it's all my own original stuff every day. And I don't want to start just duplicating what's on WordPress into Substack.
Yeah.
I would want something different. And,
Right.
and I have 11 years on WordPress, and I'm not going to be importing 11 years worth. It's when I'm just moving hosts, I moved from Bluehost to SiteGround. I just paid them to do it. I said, I'm not a tech person, and I didn't want to mess anything up. And so I don't even remember what they charged me. It didn't matter. I was going to pay it to get stuff moved over. But it is a dilemma for people. Like you mentioned, people with big followings. Randy Seaver has thousands.
Oh yeah, there's another one.
He has a small Substack account going now where he posts a few things, but he's still mainly on Blogger, that's always been free. I mean, my hobby is free. Self-hosted WordPress and SiteGround is money.
Yeah,
every
that's
year.
right.
But I have a lot of readers at this point, and I get all kinds of these comments. Like I said, the guy that plopped in yesterday, that's not so much fun. But I get all kinds of people on both sides of my family, Slovak cousins. I've got New England people. My husband has Southern and German roots. And all these people now have found my blog because all my posts are sitting out there. So, I feel like, okay, I kind of have to stay with WordPress. but I don't have 36 or 48 hours in a day to do both platforms.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
at scale, you could make mistakes at scale. And a mistake at scale toasts, a huge amount of content. So, I salute you for the caution that you've taken in
Mhm.
doing that, making sure that those are all there and backed up and supported. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's a complicated challenge. And there are a lot of,
It is.
yeah.
It would be nice if they had, because I don't know, and maybe it's just specific to this, to this group that has they've got a long history in outside different media or venues or whatever. But it would seem like Substack would want to help figure that out.
Well, the problem is it's an infinitely complicated problem because there's, so many different ways that might be installed and displayed. They have solved it for the basic case in the sense that, I mean, I had an archive in Webflow, which is a kind of like WordPress on steroids for corporate customers.
Mhm.
And I took everything I had there and I exported it, and then I imported it all into Substack. Actually, I did have to go through each post to make sure that the formatting worked. And I did not have any of the fancy formatting with things like footnotes.
Mhm.
I only had subheads and things like that to worry about. So it was, relatively speaking, a breeze. But that is
It's
really an
it's
impediment.
a task. Yeah.
But honestly, there are lots of people that make money out of doing exactly that. So like your team, the team that did your work as a host, what they do, the way they do that at scale is they build scripts, and the scripts are highly customized. It's essentially a developer that is going through and making that happen. And it's extremely detailed, but it's still also automated. So that's why they can do it at scale. And it's all about being, knowing what problem it is you have to solve. And I'm delighted, Linda. So I sit up straight when I see you show up in here, because to me it is that depth of history in this kind of market, coming in, providing depth, even as we have breadth, with so many new people coming in to the field and having a comfortable place to be. Jane, you've been very quiet through all of this, but you too have had, it's WordPress, isn't it? On your
I know
longtime
I
site?
used to have a blogger.
Oh, Blogger.
Account, yeah, but I've closed it all down and moved it. Well, I haven't moved anything. I'm just rewriting a few things and writing new things. So yeah.
Yeah. And you, Diane?
I had a blog, WordPress, but didn't use it.
Yeah.
So Substack has got me going.
Yeah, there you go.
I had actually started to move my blogger stuff onto the We Are blog, and then I decided that I would just can both things and come to Substack. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of We Are, but I use it
Mm.
very strictly. I mean, I love those guys, but it's not a blog in my view.
No.
So I just don't try to do that. I do it as an archive, and use Substack to be the archive, and go into the use Substack to be the blog, and use We Are as the archive.
I'm the same, because I have two archives on We Are. One's my one place study and one's my family history. But I really use Substack to highlight some of the stories and draw from that, rather than use the We Are blog, because with that you're merely just pulling from the archive, whereas with Substack I write something that draws from it but isn't necessarily exactly the same.
Right.
Horses for courses. That's what we call it. Horses for courses, right?
Horses for courses, yeah.
Or courses for horses. Well, where did the time go? What else do we have for today's theme has been all about domains, redirects, and platforms, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Is there a way you can spread the word among some of the Substackers that don't realize that they have that publication formatted address that they can use so that more people can follow them on Feedly?
Yeah, let me double check and confirm, and I will, if I can confirm the little question that you asked. I've given myself an excuse to have a whole thing about Feedly, and provide that, because let's see if we can get a nice little a little clippable segment where you, being you, explain why it's so helpful to get publications, to be able to read publications on Feedly. Linda, tell us more.
And it'll be in a non-techie way. Because if Feedly tells me I have to build an RSS feed, then I don't follow that person.
Yeah,
I have
but
no clue
seriously,
what to do to build an RSS feed, and I don't want to know.
right. But seriously, can you take a moment for people who don't even know what Feedly is and explain why they should want to make sure that their publication is ready for accessibility on Feedly? Why would you want to be reading publications on Feedly?
Okay, Feedly is more or less an electronic file cabinet. I follow about 150 blogs whenever they publish. Substack, I mentioned, if you just subscribe to somebody, Substack will send out an email saying that, you know, something new has been published by whoever. Well, if I'm unlucky that day and all 85 people publish something, that puts 85 emails in my inbox, which I don't want. Feedly, if I can add them to Feedly and put them in that electronic file cabinet, there's one icon on my screen. I can click on it when I want, and I can scroll through the whole list very quickly, and I can pick out important ones or something that catches my eye, and it has not clogged up my email inbox.
Excellent. So in that sense, Feedly is creating a newsletter of newsletters for you. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah, yeah. And every one of them is a link, and the title of whatever the item is included in the little link in Feedly.
Terrific.
And
Can you
I-
use Feedly to search past episodes, past posts?
I could, but because I I follow so many blogs, I would be looking through hundreds and hundreds of links if I was looking, and I'm not going to do that. I have no idea how far they go back in the list, but occasionally if I've deleted something and I didn't mean to, I might have to look through a couple hundred links to find what that was. But yes, they do keep a list when you're done with it and you say mark everything as read. There is a running log in there. I've just never gone very far back in it. And you can, I use Feedly, the paid version, and I was a very early user. I think I pay like $38 a year for the pro version. I don't know what they charge now. I know I get a special rate because I was an early user, but you can follow like up to 100 blogs, I think it is, for free. And
Right,
that's a
from
lot.
anywhere.
Yeah, but as long as it's a blog, just a plain old website or a Substack that has the hashtag A after it, Feedly will not find that and read it, and it will tell me that I have to create an RSS feed.
Yeah.
But
So
that's
let
a
me
way to get
clarify.
more readers.
When you say as long as it's a blog, what that means is it is a posting that includes an RSS feed, and it
Yes.
feeds Feedly in a standards-based format. That is what we, on the outside call a blog, but on the inside, that's what's happening. And that's why it works. And that's why Feedly, in that sense, creates a feed for you of recent posts
Mhm.
that is irrespective, I hate that word, but no matter where the source platform is, an interoperable multi-platform way to do that, which is kind of neat. And the
It's
reason they've been around
terrific.
for a long time.
And I said, everything is it's in my little file cabinet, and I can go
Yeah.
there when I want to read it, but it's
Yeah.
not clogging up everything in my
Yeah.
inbox, my
Yeah.
email.
I think from Substack's perspective, what they're trying to do is go into that same blogging market, make innovations, and do things differently. So it can be confusing, it can be frustrating, and there are advantages, but they also need everybody needs to know how to use it the other way too. So that's fair. That's totally fair. Thank you. Appreciate that. So as we button this up, are there thoughts and topics? As you know, we do make the rotate. So next month will be in the Atlantic friendly window, still recorded for everyone's benefit. I see you. I see out to New Zealand and Australia from here. And always welcome thoughts and tips about things that you'd like to cover. And you may not realize it, but everyone is welcome to submit tips to Deborah Carl for the Magical Weekly Accessibility, and you get your name in the Mission Genealogy publication, which, hey, a little SEO help, right? A little visibility. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Shall we wrap it up with that? Okay.
Good.
Thank you all for joining and participating so actively today. That always makes my life a little bit easier.
Well, thank you
All right
for
then.
hosting.
My pleasure.